So, what is this place, Signor?
It is my family's chapel.
It's not like any chapel I ever saw. Where's the altar, the crucifix, the Christian symbols? And this fresco, what's that?
How extraordinary. It tells a story. It depicts the journey of my ancestors, the Cathars, and their escape from the hilltop fortress of Montsegur with the Tabula Veritatis, from under the very noses of the soldiers of the Albigensian Crusade.
Whoa, wait a minute. Who are the Cathars? And what have they got to do with the tabula?
The Cathars were Gnostics. They lived in the south of France in the 12th century, at peace with the Jews and the Catholics of the Languedoc. They preached that men and women are equal, that God is within you, and that the Church is an obstacle to salvation. The Pope found their core beliefs abhorrent. The Cathars accused him and his Church of corruption. He condemned them as heretics. When the Pope learned that they were the guardians of the Tabula Veritatis, he conspired with the King of France and called for a holy war to wipe them out. The Albigensian Crusade was a callous, ruthless massacre. The final confrontation took place here at Montsegur in 1244. The Crusaders believed that they had slaughtered all the heretics, but a handful managed to escape with the tabula. They traveled south across the Pyrenees along secret trails. They brought the tabula here to Catalonia to be hidden once more. Sadly, it was not the end of their trials. The Spanish Inquisition saw to that. Nevertheless, for generations, my ancestors continued to guard the secret of the tabula. So, you understand why La Maledizio is important to me. It will lead us to the tabula again, so we can keep it safe from those who wish to abuse its power.
The painting brought us up here, Signor. We need to find out why.
Let's have a look around before we speak to Marquez again. First, let's start with this fresco.
The large painting covered the far wall of the chapel. I needed a closer look to pick out the detail in the scene. The fresco deserved a proper examination. The fresco was surrounded by dusty inscriptions. My Latin was a little rusty, but I could still translate. Ex igne puritas, from fire, purity. Ex luce veritas, from light, truth. Ex labore sapientia, from struggle, knowledge.
Now, there is a lot going on in this fresco, but there are only a few things that we can actually examine. Well, there are quite a few things, but all we get are town names, and despite these various number of figures that we have, they all give the same description.
Cathars fleeing across the Pyrenees to escape the slaughter of the Albigensian Crusade. They seem to be carrying something.
Yeah, we get the same description for all of these figures. But yeah, they're all carrying something.
A town of northern Catalonia.
Yeah, that's the same description for all of these, that I believe.
A town of northern Catalonia.
Yes. And we can examine these lovely people up here.
Knights of the Albigensian Crusade. Cathars being burned at the stake. It was a candelabrum holding a single candle. It was a large marble statue of an old man with a beard. The statue held aloft a colored glass lens. These statues
What of them?
They're just like the figures in the painting, and on the fireplace.
Indeed, they are the two pillars of the Gnostic faith in harmony. And the bearded one is Yahweh, Jehovah, God of the physical world. The other is known by many names. Helel, Ishtar. He is the bearer of light, Luxfere, Lucifer.
Lucifer? So you guys are devil worshippers?
No. When he is in balance with Jehovah, Lucifer is the god of desire and ambition, driving humans to be inquisitive, to discover, to advance. Just as Jehovah, when he is in balance with Lucifer, is the god of order. Jehovah stands for selflessness and altruism. Gnostics worship the harmony of both gods in balance.
But what if one were to rule without the other?
If Jehovah ruled without Lucifer, then individuality would be surrendered. Mankind would be wholly conformist, mindlessly dependent, mere pawns of a controlling power.
And what if Lucifer ruled without Jehovah?
Ambition and desire would be transformed into unbridled greed, and man would lust only for wealth and power. Society would descend into chaos, disorder and war would prevail. Then Lucifer would be the devil indeed.
Light streamed through the window onto a lens. It was a glass wheel divided into 6 colors, and it looked like it could be rotated. Part of the lens was covered.
We will take a look at this momentarily, but first let's speak to Marquez again.
Marquez had had a spring in his step ever since we discovered the secret chapel.
Really? When he arrived up these stairs, he looked like he was about to have a heart attack.
Senor Marquez?
Yes?
Why was this room so well hidden?
After Monsegur, my ancestors were very careful about announcing their presence. Even I, as a boy, knew nothing of this place.
This fresco means something. I know it.
It is not just a historical record. There is a mystery locked in here. All those figures crossing the Pyrenees, one of them has to be carrying the real Tabula Veritatis. But which one?
Ah, so they were decoys.
So Jehovah, he's God, isn't he?
He is the central figure in Abrahamic religions, but he represents just one aspect of our Gnostic beliefs, the physical world.
So this statue is Satan.
Not Satan, Lucifer.
Okay, so not evil?
The church demonized Lucifer to suit their own ends. He represents the spiritual and intellectual elements of the world. Good and evil are simply products of the human condition.
Damn it, George. He's already explained this to us.
You talk about balance. What does that mean?
Harmony comes from the balance of Jehovah, who offers order, and Lucifer, who brings ambition. Only under their dual influence will man become enlightened. See the light.
So you say the Cathars are Gnostics?
The Cathars were a medieval religious movement based on Gnosticism. Nowadays, we simply call ourselves Gnostics.
So the tabula is the key to the power of God.
Yes, it is an object of tremendous power.
Wow, this Alba Jensen crusade sure must have been a bloody affair.
Few were spared. But it was only one episode in 2 millennia of persecution.
What's the deal with these lenses that the statues are carrying?
Clearly, they change the color of light that is reflected onto the fresco.
But why? And why the different colors?
George, this is the 5th Broken Sword game. You should know a puzzle when you see one.
Does all that colored light falling on the fresco mean anything?
I don't know, senor. That is why I need you to help me.
Right, puzzle solving time. Let's take a closer look at this paper again. We need to take a close look at the second passage.
The second passage read, "And all shall know that the light of knowledge is blue, and that the light of life is green. For thus was the light of Eden, both blue and green, intertwined with the light of man to become pure." Knowledge is blue and life is green. Well, that was good to know. I wondered what color was the light of man.
Well, if we take a close look down here, it seems the light of man is red.
So the statues on the fireplace mirrored the ritual. Only a true Gnostic would know that. Or someone who had it explained in an old Vatican manuscript taken from a dead priest.
Right, now it's time to take a look at these glass lenses. Well, glass lenses? Is that correct?
It was an ornate glass disc divided into 6 colored segments. The color changed from yellow to green. A small leather cap covered part of the device. I removed the small leather cover to reveal a crude crystal lens. Colored light streamed through and shone onto the fresco.
So this would be the light of knowledge. And green is where we need it to be.
It was a glass wheel, just like the one held by the other statue. Part of the lens was covered. The color changed from yellow to green. The color changed from green to turquoise. The color changed from turquoise to blue.
There we go.
Colored light from the rotating glass wheel was refracted by the lens onto the fresco. A beam of colored light shone from the lens.
Now all we need is the red light. Now this is a proper adventure game solution.
Just what this place needed. Bit of mood lighting. If only I had a few scatter cushions.
Now I do have some issues with this puzzle. Mainly because this is a candle, and it's not really strong enough to emit a light that would beam directly to a fresco about 6 feet away. And secondly, we're going to use the crystal of this medallion, and I'm guessing that it needs to be in an exact spot, otherwise we're going to get a false reading. But this is an adventure game, and it uses adventure game logic, so enjoy the solution.
Amazing. The light is showing the path of the Bonzong.
The what?
The sacred trail my ancestors took across the Pyrenees, carrying the Tabula Veritatis from Montségur across the mountains to this town.
And which town is that?
I don't know. That I cannot answer. But its coat of arms is quite distinctive.
But how does it bring us closer to the tabula?
It tells us the route the tabula took 800 years ago.
I think that's all we're going to find up here.
You're right. We should return to the hall. Eva will be getting worried.
Okay, we found the route of the Bonzom Trail. How does it help us?
It must somehow relate to the painting.
Papa, are you crazy? What are you doing?
I'm fine, don't fuss.
You got me out here to look after you, so let me do it. Ramon is outside keeping watch.
Georges, I'm glad you're safe. What did you find?
There's a secret chapel above the fireplace. But it's not your average everyday chapel. It's a Gnostic chapel. All laid out for worshipping not one god, but two.
What?
I'll tell you when we have more time.
You know, I found some things too, which might connect with all that. Come to the library. Oh, could you bring the painting? I think we're going to need it.
I had a hard time working out which town is the one that we need to uncover, as it's not exactly very clear. And I believe it was the one at the bottom. I mean, it is the one at the bottom that we saw. I actually don't have the map in front of me to show you directly. And I think it was the only town that wasn't covered in blue and green light. Anyway, let's steal this painting once more.
What are you doing with La Maledizio?
Nico found something and asked me to bring the painting. I promised to take care of it. Marquez looked exhausted. Are you all right, Senor Marquez?
I am fine. Just winded, that's all.
Any idea what Nico might have found?
Parts of this house have been sealed off for a long time. You go. I will stay here.
You really had no idea that the Gnostic chapel was behind the fireplace, did you?
No, but the house is full of secrets.
Can you tell me any more about this trail of the Bonzom?
It was the secret route taken by my ancestors across the Pyrenees. The route that brought the tabula to Catalonia.
Eva said she didn't get along with her father, but she sure looked worried about him. Eva,
Yes?
let me know if there's anything I can do to help your father.
I will. Thanks.
Right, let's look for this coat of arms. I believe it was this one here.
The coat of arms was exactly the same as the one depicted on the fresco. It read Berga.
Eva, go with him. Make sure the painting comes to no harm.
I should stay with you, Papa.
Don't worry about me. La Malediccio is more important.
Have you brought the painting?
Sure, why do you want it?
Because I found out what Guénon was up to.
The Gainan who tried to buy the painting from Medovsky?
No, Guénon who led the fascists here during the Civil War. Guénon who then spent months here searching for something. And who vanished one day, leaving that trunk full of goodies over there.
You think he's connected to the Gainan who wrote the letter to Medovsky?
It seems likely that they were related.
Maybe. So what's the plan you've uncovered?
Take a look at this. It's Ganon's map. He was searching for something.
Searching for what exactly?
The Tabula Veritatis, I guess.
You think he found it?
I doubt it. If he had, then people wouldn't still be chasing after the painting.
So why did you want me to bring it?
See this scribble in the sea?
It's the same shape as the circles around the Ouroboros.
Yes. Ganon thought that pattern in the painting had something to do with a map of Catalonia.
So, I guess we try to finish what Ganon started. I'd put money on those circles around the Ouroboros being places in Catalonia.
But which places?
Maybe the painting can give us some more clues.
We have already examined the painting for the clues that we need. We know 3 of the towns already. We just need to find the 4th one.
A sturdy old table stood in the center of the room.
I'm guessing that if we examine the table further, it will bring us closer to the map.
The suit of armor appeared to be standing guard. It was Ganon's map. He'd been looking for something. A moth-eaten tapestry hung on the wall. Nico looked as cool as anything. Hey, Nico.
Yes, George?
Any ideas on what Ganon was trying to do with this map?
Find the Tabula Veritatis, I guess.
Eva was still suspicious of us, but I was glad she was around. Eva,
Yes?
do you have any idea what we should be looking for?
What do I know? You're the ones who think there are secrets hidden here.
This map is confusing.
Maybe Ganon had already decoded it.
The coat of arms I saw in the fresco was for a town called Berga.
I know of it. You should mark it on the map.
I will do. In a few minutes.
It was a dusty old globe. The window looked out onto a small courtyard. It had a grille of solid iron bars. The books were covered in cobwebs. They hadn't been touched for a long time. A large trunk sat in the corner. A pair of worn-out boots lay in the bottom of the trunk. I had no desire to take the old boots. It was a well-worn hat. I lifted the hat out of the chest. There was a folded shirt. There was something tucked beneath the shirt. There was a small folded piece of paper in the chest. I picked up the folded note. It was a telegram. A small piece of oilcloth was folded neatly inside the trunk. I removed the oilcloth from the chest. The blanket was made from rough old military wool. I picked up the blanket. There was nothing underneath it. There was a folded shirt. There was nothing underneath the other shirt.
I like how George just avoids all of these pockets. Alright, we are done here.
I put everything back in the chest.
We have seen this kind of puzzle before. I believe it was during the remastered Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars game. But this is kind of a staple in a lot of adventure games. Right, I'm not going to mess around. Let's just get straight to the solution. It should only take about a minute or two. So we know this is the Tabula Veritatis. I'm pretty sure George will read us out in full at the end. Any more? Must be one more right here.
I deciphered the telegram. The Tabula Veritatis was smuggled out of Montsegur to Catalonia by a group of Cathar survivors. I have confirmed this from confessions extracted by the Dominican Inquisitor Emmerich of Girona. It was signed Wolfram.
Alright, well, we've discovered 2 locations. I believe I had a third one, but there were 2 in our possession already. Anyway, let's get this solved.
The map had to be the key.
Yeah, we just need to mark the 4 locations. So we know about Berga.
So, the coat of arms on the fresco pointed us towards Berga.
Then it must be important.
Of course. Then we have the Emmerich of Girona.
The Dominican monk Emmerich was from Girona. The dog-headed priest on the painting. 2 locations down. If the vignettes on the painting were anything to go by, I needed to find 2 more.
We know about Montsegur.
This was one of the locations highlighted on the fresco.
And this was the starting point of the journey of the Bonan, the good man, the Cathars, right?
I'd found 3 locations. Now I had to track down the last one.
The last one is Saint Ramon.
The village of San Ramon.
Saint Ramon. Ramon told me he was named after a Saint Ramon.
There's also a saint on the painting.
Let me guess, he has a hefty padlock through his lips?
I could see a pattern emerging. The locations had formed an odd cross shape, similar to the layout of the orbs depicted on the painting. This is the center point of the cross, so the tabula must be here. Montserrat. It has to be Montserrat. The question is, what's Montserrat?
It's a monastery in the mountains, quite a tourist spot. But there's something else. I think it used to be a Gnostic refuge, hundreds of years ago.
Bravo, my friends.
Medovsky?
No, Langham.
No, it's Genan, isn't it?
Very good, Miss Collard.
So, what happened to the real Langham?
He went for a long swim in the Seine. Now, I was expecting to have to rip this place apart and retrace my grandfather's steps, but I do believe you have saved me quite a lot of work. The tabula is at Montserrat. Who would have thought it? The old man will be coming with me.
No, please, take me instead. He doesn't know anything.
And you do? I think not.
But he is old.
Eva, hold your peace, child.
You can't do this.
Oh, but I can. I will. Man is weak, servile, controlled. He must be freed, freed from all constraints, free to fulfill his desires.
And you plan to raise the devil to achieve that?
Not the devil. Lucifer. Now, if you don't mind, we have a long journey ahead of us. Come on. They can rot in there.
We have to get out of here now. I assume that lunatic is as dangerous as he looks.
I'm afraid so, Eva. I think he's killed before.
You know, Nico, we were chasing Medovsky, but all along, we were really up against Ganon's grandson.
It's not exactly surprising considering that he was the one who set fire to Hobbs' studio. Now I'm guessing that this is locked.
The door was locked.
Of course. Now, this location that we discovered, it wasn't exactly a cross that we uncovered. It was more of a T.
Look. Daylight.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's a false door, Nico.
So that's why Marquez's father tried to escape through here. He didn't have time to open the false door.
Eva was surprisingly cool and determined.
Well, I tried to speak to her, but that didn't seem to work.
Hey, Nico.
Yes, George?
What do we do now?
I'm trying to think, George. There's got to be a way out of here.
Didn't we establish that this is a hidden door?
The bullet holes were letting beams of light into the room. Aha!
Great work, George. Come on, Eva, let's go.
We need to rescue your father and stop Langham before he gets the tabula. Eva, I think you'd better stay here.
Are you kidding? You'll need me, especially if there's a fight.
Eva, it'll be very dangerous.
Signora, you do not understand. It is my duty.
Okay. We'd better check up on Ramon first.
Sure. Then we will go and kick some ass.
Couldn't have put it better myself.